All right, so today we're going to be looking at frequency tables. And we're going to go ahead and look at the first graph. It says, what is your favorite summer sport? So you can see here the sport are basketball, and 6 people chose basketball. Baseball, 8 people chose it. Swimming, 6, and soccer, 5. So we have how many people chose each sport. What we need to do is change this into a fraction and then into a percent. So the first thing we're going to do, so our step 1 over here is we're going to find the total, which means we're going to add up all these numbers. We're going to add 6 plus 8 plus 6 plus 5. And when we add all these numbers up, we get 25. So remember here, we're going to write a fraction. So this is going to be step 2. A fraction needs a part and a whole. So if you see here, I'm going to make my fraction. The frequency would be my part. So I'm just going to copy each frequency down. See how I just copied the 6 here, the 8, the 6, and the 5? And then my whole would be the 25. This would be my total right here. So this would be my denominator, the bottom part of my fraction. So I'm going to put 25 on the bottom of each fraction. And that's how easy it is to create the fraction. Now, what we need to do, I'm going to give myself a little bit of space here, is we need to convert or change the fraction into a percent. So, remember in the last video we watched, we talked about setting up a proportion. And we talked about you needed a part and a whole, and that all percents are out of the number 100. So I'm going to go ahead and set all these fractions equal to 100 so that I can easily find my percent. Okay, so scale factor is going to work really nice in this one because how do we get from 25 to 100? We simply multiply by 4. So whatever we do to the bottom, we're going to do to the top. So 6 times 4 is 24. So 6 over 25 would be 24%. And same thing here, 25 to 100, that's going to be times 4. So whatever I do to the bottom, I'm going to do to the top again. And 8 times 4 is 32. So 8 out of 25, that's 32%. And we're going to repeat that again. 25 to 100, that's times 4. So we're going to do 6 times 4. And 6 times 4 is 24. So 6 out of 25 is 24%. But we already knew that from the first one. And then the last one here, 5 out of 25. I'm now going to compare 5 to 100, and I'm going to multiply by 4. So whatever I do to the bottom, I'm also going to do to the top. And 5 times 4 is 20. So 5 out of 25 would be 20%. Pretty simple? All right, let's try that again in the table below. So we're still going to follow our steps like we did in the last one. It says, find the relative frequency of each type of food. So now we're looking at favorite foods. And we see tacos, 20 people chose it. Pizza, 12. Hot wings, 7. Hamburgers, 11. Remember, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find the total. We're going to add 20 plus 12 plus 7 plus 11. And when we do, you can pause the video and add it. But when we do add it, we get 50. So, now that we have all our parts and we have a total, we can write our fraction. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set up my fraction. And remember, my part is going to be 20 for tacos, 12 for pizza, 7 for hot wings, and 11 for hamburgers. But there's a total of 50 people who were surveyed. So 50 needs to be our denominator, our bottom number. So I'm going to go ahead and put 50 on the bottom. And now we need to take our fraction and we need to turn it into a percent. Now remember, we're going to set up a proportion, and all percents are always going to be out of 100. So I'm going to set each fraction equal to 100. Okay, and again, it would be nice to use scale factor here because 50 and 100 are compatible. To get from 50 to 100, all I simply do is multiply by 2. So if 50 times 2 is 100, I would do 20 times 2, which is 40. So 20 out of 50 would be 40%. Okay, let's do that again. We know to get from 50 to 100, we multiply by 2. So 12 times 2 is 24. So 12 out of 50 would be 24%. Okay, 50 times 2 is 100. So 7 times 2 is 14. So 7 out of 50 would be 14%. Pretty easy. Last one. 50 to 100 is times 2. So 11 times 2 is 22, which would give us 22%.